Hey guys, Mike BBA here. Welcome to the new TEW series on my channel. We're going to be progress wrestling, starting with chapter 45. That's Galvanize. It's just happened last week in real life. It's just gone live online on their demand service, so go check that out because you know it's going to be phenomenal. This is the pretty much the same card as they had in real life. It's all the same matches. Got a couple of angles in there which may have spoiled it a little bit, so hopefully you haven't seen that. Galvanize was, of course, based in Manchester. However, we are currently holding it in the next best thing, the O2 Academy in Liverpool. It's practically the same place. That's due to a couple of database issues where the O2 Ritz in Manchester doesn't have a set language in this database, which is a bit of a problem. I know the Manchester accent can be a bit difficult to understand sometimes, and they generally talk out their arse, but they still generally speak English. So it's a bit harsh of the mod maker to set no language there. So we're in Liverpool instead. We have 1,196 people out of a possible 1,200 capacity, so 4 people stuck on the train on the way up here. As we start off with Jim Smallman introducing the chapter, talking to the crowd, getting everyone hyped as he normally does. Gets himself a 22 E- with no improvements there. But Jim introducing the show as we go into our first match, which is Ringkampf versus the Hunter Brothers, where in a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, Ringkampf defeated the Hunter Brothers in 14 minutes and 30 seconds, when Axel Dieter Jr. defeated Lee Hunter by pinfall with a Regalplex. Got a 45D there match rating. Walter with a 38 in-ring performance, Axel Dieter Jr. with a 50, and the Hunters with a 43 and a 40. So a solid match there. Jim Hunter slightly off his game. Maybe could have brought it up by a point or two. Lee Hunter, his brother, improving in performance, so not bad. The Hunter brothers been very impressive in real life and progress. We're looking to bring them in more often, maybe make them a mainstay of progress going into the future. As you might be able to see, we're holding the show on a Monday. That is due to some scheduling difficulties. Obviously, you've got the likes of Marty Scurll over in America with Ring of Honor. You've got Will Ospreay in Japan with NJPW. You've now got Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, and Mark Andrews, all in NXT on this. A lot of people over in OTT in Ireland, some with other British companies. Obviously, you've got Ringkampf themselves, or a WXW tag team. So we're having to hold the show on a Monday, but we're looking to bring in guys like the Hunters that can hopefully bring us forward in the future. With our second match, in a very good match, about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Liverpool's number one, the hometown boy for this show, defeated Al Ligero in 14 minutes and 14 seconds with a submission after a distraction from Nathan Cruz. So his Origin, if they're still classed as the Origin, I'm not really sure. Zach Gibson's Origin teammate distracting the former Origin member Al Ligero to give Zach Gibson the victory. Unfortunately, colour commentary not the greatest for this match, but Al Ligero with an in-ring performance of 52 and Zach Gibson with a 58. No work improvements there, but a 55 C-. Good for this. Brings the Origin versus the Origin Banter Edition storyline forward a bit. As we go into our next match, where in a match that had decent wrestling but not a lot of heat, James Drake defeated Jack Sexsmith in 12 minutes and 37 by pinfall with a roll-up. Jack Sexsmith, unfortunately off his game, only got a 23 there, but James Drake with an impressive 50, so a 38D-. Both of them improving in performance skills, which is quite good, because I believe they're still both fairly young. James Drake isn't too old, I believe. So Definitely two people that will hopefully be around for a while. As we go into the next match, which is the Progress Tag Team Championship match, where in a decent match, Moustache Mountain defeated the South Pacific Power Trip in 14 minutes and 21, when Tyler Bate defeated Travis Banks by pinfall with a Tyler Driver 97. So Tyler Bate bringing out his WWE/NXT finisher there. Moustache Mountain making defence number 1 of their Progress Tag Team titles. Tyler Bate was head and shoulders above everyone else, and TK Cooper was the weak link there. For those wondering, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven going under the tag team name Moustache Mountain in this database because Trent Seven and Pete Dunne are called British Strong Style. And you can't have two people with two tag teams with the same name. And I didn't want to call them British Strong Style 2 or anything like that. So I've kept them as Moustache Mountain, which is what they're known in other promotions like Shikara. And they reference it in WWE as well. They say they're tag team partners in Moustache Mountain. But Trent Seven and TK Cooper off their game. Dahlia Black with some good work at ringside like normal. Tyler Bate there with a 60 in-ring performance, the best so far. Trent Seven with a disappointing 44. TK Cooper with a 32. And Travis Banks with a 48. No worker improvements in that match, unfortunately. 51D plus is decent. I was hoping for maybe slightly more, considering who was involved. As following that, we have a post-match confrontation where Axel Dieter Jr. and Volta come out to the ring, have a bit of a stare down with Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, maybe looking at a tag team championship match there. Ringkampf obviously have a good few wins now. They've beaten South Pacific Power Trip, they've beaten the Hunter Brothers, they've beaten London Riots, pretty much the main tag teams in Progress other than British Strong Style / Moustache Mountain. So Ringkampf looking like they have the potential to be the new number 1 contenders to the Tag Team Championship. As we go into our next match, where Flash Morgan Webster defeated Nathan Cruz in 30 minutes and 57 seconds by submission. The crowd cooled down a little bit as Morgan Webster with a 36, Nathan Cruz with a 39. Bit of a slower match after the potential high pacing of that Tag Team Championship match. Morgan Webster improving his performance, which is very nice. Just back from injury, only his second match from injury, I believe. So he's working his way back in there. Good win, bringing him up for maybe not a title shot, but he's getting his way up there. A couple of impressive wins, getting himself, if he gets on a little mini streak, then maybe he'll stake his claim for a championship opportunity. The next match, a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling. They said that the wrong way around there. Mark Andrews defeated Will Ospreay. I've just noticed one of the road agent reports there. Mark Andrews defeated Will Ospreay in 17 minutes 37 by pinfall with a moonsault. Mark Andrews tiring towards the end and also sustaining a buttock contusion. So Mark Andrews took a hard bump to his ass, getting a 43 in-ring performance, which is slightly disappointing for Andrews considering his ability. Will Ospreay with a 61. We'll blame Andrews' performance on his injury. No worker improvements there. 50D plus. Slightly disappointing for the two people involved. Hoping they could really go out there, steal the show, get a good rating there. But Will Ospreay's poor form continues. Went the entirety of 2016 without a victory. Still hasn't got one here. But Will Ospreay actually was the one that caused Andrews to get hurt. His botch, so people not going to be happy with Ospreay. Luckily it was only a slight injury. Andrews shouldn't be out for too long. Then after that match, Jimmy Havoc, perhaps upset at Ospreay botching the move that injured Andrews, or perhaps just have with his own agenda. Jimmy Havoc attacking Will Ospreay after that match. 41D. Jimmy Havoc getting a bit of revenge on Will Ospreay, attacking him after the match, probably with weapons, knowing Mr. Havoc. As the next match, in a bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat, Ginny defeated Nixon Newell in 11 minutes and 12 seconds with a middle rope X Factor. Bout dragged in the middle. Ginny with an in-ring performance of 34, Nixon Newell with an in-ring performance of 32. Slightly disappointing. The women in progress, good wrestlers, especially Ginny and Nixon Newell, probably two of the strongest wrestlers, female wrestlers in the company. But women not quite as effective as the men in this game. Just how it's built, really. 28E, disappointing for the two women involved. As we go into the final match of the night, very disappointing score, disappointing ending. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Pete Dunne defeated Jimmy Havoc in 16 minutes and 55 seconds by pinfall with the bitter end. During the match, Will Ospreay ran in to get his revenge on Jimmy Havoc, attacking him during the match. Referee must not have seen it as there was no disqualification. Pete Dunne making... Actually, no, never mind. This was a no disqualification match, I've just remembered. Pete Dunne making defence number 1 of his Progress Championship. Well, in-game that is. He's obviously made quite a few defences in real life, which I kind of wish that was in the game, in the database to begin with, but it's not. So Pete Dunne making defence number 1. Jimmy Havoc with an in-ring performance of 43. Pete Dunne with a 49. Very disappointing, considering the heat that these two guys have and their in-ring abilities. Was hoping for at least 50s and 60s there for in-ring performance, but a 40D minus, probably brought down, to be perfectly honest, by the fact that it wasn't entirely a decisive finish. The fact that Will Ospreay ran in and attacked Havoc in a no disqualification match, and the fact that the fact that Jimmy Havoc wasn't really beaten clean by Dunne. Havoc improving his technical skills, as in the next segment, Havoc is attacked after the match by Will Ospreay, and a mixture of Pete Dunne, just sort of Pete Dunne stamping his mark on Havoc, Ospreay getting his revenge for earlier in the night, as we end on a 47D, which gives us a show popularity rating of 43D, increasing our popularity in 45 regions. So not the best card we could have put on. Not the best results. The Pete Dunne Havoc match I hoped would be better. Same with the women's match. Tag match. The fact that James Drake and Sex Smith got the same score as Webster and Cruz, slightly disappointing. But that was because I wanted to bring the crowd down a little bit before the Andrews-Ospreay match. Because Andrews and Ospreay aren't going to have a match that isn't high-flying and ridiculous and getting the crowd all hyped. So I thought Webster and Cruz, maybe calm them down a bit, just to get them ready for that Andrews-Ospreay match so they could all go mental. But 43D, not the worst we could have done. I'm going to... I think Zach Gibson deserves some praise, and Will Ospreay. I think they got the two highest scores of the show. And then also... I think we'll give it to Tyler. Actually, Tyler Bate I think had one of the highest as well. So Tyler Bate, Will Ospreay, and Zach Gibson all going to be complimented on a good performance. As we go to the next day with my lovely John Cena background there. Never give up. So on St. Patrick's Day, we see that Mark Andrews did in fact suffer a buttock contusion after a botched move from Will Ospreay. So if we take a look at that, yeah, he's going to work through it. So it might affect some of his next couple of matches, but he's not too seriously hurt. We got less than a 0.01 TV rating there. We're on pivot share on this mod. Made a little bit of money from that, not a massive amount. Marty Skrull, Zack Sabre Jr. and Paul Robinson all upset that they weren't on the last show. Andrews and Ospreay upset at the botch and the injury, which is unfortunate, but they should be okay. And I know that says 27 days, but our next show will actually be in a week's time, as it is going to be in real life. It's a week after the Manchester show. They have another show at London. I think it's the 5-year anniversary. 5-year anniversary show of Progress. We'll go with 5 years, but it's the anniversary of their first ever show. In real life, it's a stacked card. We're going to change it slightly, I think. A little bit of change in there. But hopefully it'll be as good. As you see, WWE have called up Shinsuke Nakamura to the main roster just before Mania. Interesting to see if anything will happen there. And we'll look at ours. Feedback has been very positive. A good show, apparently, with our pretty much capacity crowd in Liverpool. But that's enough for this episode, and I'll see you guys soon with Chapter 46, which I've forgotten the name for, actually. I believe it is... here it is. I like to chill out here and shoot some dinosaurs. We'll see you then. But for now, goodbye.